and the local associations, local professional association, whether they're from physicians, the respiratory people, the surgeons, everybody. So it's a different India. So India has come out with a huge number of guidelines dealing with almost everything. You look at the program is done exceedingly well on that front. These are Indianized guidelines based on the international and national experience and national perspective. They write on the program management, right on diagnosis, right on the even financial management, right on the everything we take into that. Only the NTM and a few things are left actually, silicosis, etc. are left, and the rest everything is done actually. Then, secondly, India has got a huge network of laboratories, diagnostics, more than nearly 5,000 molecular labs, which you could not imagine earlier actually. And so many reference IRFs, NRFs, and you say anything actually. So we have a huge infrastructure built actually, where the facilities are accessible to the people. So you can rationally treat the patients. Drugs are being made available. But then you reach on something, okay, well, we have partnership with the private has been built, partnership with the civil society has been built to even look at the nutrition and other issues. So a very broad coalition is there, very powerful coalition is there. But are we right on the track actually? Are we focusing on everything which matters? No, if you look at the few core issues, why you are fighting? Is it end TB? Very good slogan. But where is the TB which you want to end? Well, you will reach out to the cases, diagnose them, treat them. Well, you give all a carpet bombing type of a thing to all their contacts also. So you're presuming that all have killed everything all around. It's a totally sterilized area. Will it happen that way? Well, might happen. But you look at the past history, if it doesn't succeed to that extent, then earlier strategy worked. We treated more than 2 crore people, more than 20 million people actually. And maybe more. So many lives saved. But the transmission didn't decline with that speed. With the NTI story, Dr. Chadha is there, these are the last papers to be quoted actually. After that, the total story dwindled away. And 4 to 5% decline, maybe somewhere 8% decline, but then a stagnation after that. But even if you want to achieve this 2025 targets, you need more than 10% decline. Will it happen? It's possible it may happen. I'm not a negative person, but it is really possible it may not happen actually. You may not reach out to all the contacts, because the contact may not be your household contact, but it may be any contact anyway. Then the second point is, that is the transmission part. Then are you taking all the precautions which you need to take? Cutting down the transmission by diagnosis and treatment is good enough. See, the transmission occurs at home, transmission occurs in your healthcare facilities. It happens other workplaces also. But the use of mask as a tool to control the plague was known in 1910, Dr. Boo. That entire Manchuria's epidemic got spread to Mongolia, but it could be contained. But the same clinician, after 3 months, he stopped using the mask and he got the plague. By that time, the plague had gone down by 99%. So that means, are we insisting with our patients that till they become negative, they should wear a mask, their family should be protected? This is known knowledge actually. That people started talking now after the COVID era, but nobody was talking earlier actually. This is for you to think about that. Now the hospital, the infection in the healthcare facilities. 2 examples I'll give you actually. In 90s, 2 outbreaks of the MDR TB happened in the HIV patients in US. I think famous papers in 92 or 94 around that time. One, they traced everything up with very good epidemiology, then very good molecular epidemiology done. They could trace to a doctors from where it started. They started to 2 clinics. One doctor was very fond of bronchoscopy. So he infected everybody with the bronchoscopy because sterilization was not well done. Okay. The second was the second doctor's clinic where the air handling was not proper, and there it was circulating within that. Now, have we changed our clinics? That's the question you have to ask actually. Have you made the air handling in a way that it is sucked out from the bottom, not from the top, so it doesn't infect anybody else? I think this is the question you have to address. Because these are very simple measures. Because after 92 and 94, no outbreaks of MDR TB happened. Whole America could be just changed by the practice, that is the proper bronchoscopy sterilizations, proper actually the handling of the clinics, the air handling of the clinics. It is a doable, but that means the cutting down the transmission remains the number one agenda if you want to get up to the basics actually. Second is the patient actually. The is the diagnosis. Then now the question is now moving to another era. You know the clinical symptomatology, you know the diagnostic the criteria, whether it is a microbiological, molecular, or imaging, or whatever, histopathology. But now we are jumping fast actually. We want to use the artificial intelligence for the purpose of screening, for the diagnosis. Great actually, because you can do something with artificial intelligence which you can't do otherwise. You can create algorithms which a common person can use with a reasonable certainty actually. But then you should have a data first tool, create that tool, train that tool, then evaluate that tool. So whatever I've listened in the last 1 year actually, these are all premature tools. They were really not well designed studies, very optimistic ones, wise ones. So you need to be a part of those efforts to understand, well, has it been tested? Is it this cough type of which you are talking about has been tested on every type of cough, substantial number? Is it the chest sounds have been tested on every condition or not tested on every condition? So this kind of pathology, this kind of a molecular biology has been tested on everybody. You need not sequence all the genes actually. Why you should sequence everything out actually? See, sequencing, artificial intelligence, they are the tools to understand something better. But for clinical practice, there should be a substantial data before you put them into practice. So be open, but don't think technology will solve your problem. Technology will be a help to help you do better. So I think this is one message which you must all appreciate. We have to move, we have to progress. But then use the technology in a way where you test it fast, be a partner in that. I say don't block it, no negativism about it. I'm a very open supporter of the modernizing the science, which I've done my entire life actually, which I even talk for the tuberculosis also. But be partner, first get it tested. At least I reviewed about 6 projects by different funding agencies, and they have all the same flow. They wanted to be marketed, they wanted to be launched in some states actually, and the states want our recommendation. But then it was not there actually. Say for example, you want to sequence out all the genomes of the MTB in one place. Why? What for? Because if you know that, by that you will get a more, you will be able to reach the diagnosis of resistance to that high level. Then you say that, but they hardly reach 63%, 65%, 70%. What else? That means you really don't know. The sequencing is that will not be a solution actually. Till you prove it that it helps you do better. Why you spend huge money? Why your 5,000 labs are bad? So I think my opinion to you, whether you play a part as a clinician, public health expert, or a laboratory person, you be realistic. Don't be negative to the use of technology, but don't think the technology like a carpet bombing can end the war. It cannot end the war. War is won by a strategy. War is won by a tool. It is won by the determination. Because the next part is resistance. Resistance in 30 years actually. The MDR, whether one regimen, second regimen, or third regimen, remains in the same range. That is the same up to anything up to 5%, average around 3%. So why, despite doing your best, it remains 3%? That means really evolution you're not able to understand actually. Which are the mistakes being made? And I hardly see anything being done. I'm addressing the medical college people here. You should be understanding why this thing has happened actually. Why a particular cases, by which regimens became the MDR. It's not so simplistic actually. So I think till you try to understand that, and you have the regimens accordingly, then prevention and the XDR is rising. XDR, MDR, they have still have not come down even in the cases you call earlier treated cases, whether you call category 2 or whatever you retreated cases, whichever language you give used to them, still are troublesome. So I think the basics are you have to fight the cause. And as a medical college teachers, you have the responsibility to build science around it, because you see cases, you deal with the populations, you know what is happening, So you can create coalitions actually. You can use this artificial intelligence to have the matrices. What leads to what actually. So I think that there's a kind of responsibility which is there actually, which you can do. I think that's the one challenge which still remains unmet. So now if people think, okay, we will treat all MDR, XDR so well that there won't be anything left. I think this is a very good dream. But I think I really, I don't want to say that living in dream alone will solve the problem. You have to stop the evolution of resistance and then work on it. So then you say that I'm talking very futuristic. That means 2025 is 3 years ahead of us. This fellow is talking of something 10 years later. I think I'm telling you, 2025 we will achieve many things. We say we wanted to access 90% people, they should have the services. Well, we will be able to do that. It's a mass campaign. But look at the tribal populations. They have double the incidence. Will you be able to reach out to them? Will you reach out to the population which are still having a huge burden? Second thing, we say, okay, we want 95% success rate, 90% success rate. You will be able to do that. You are already 88, 90%, you will do better actually. Drug distance, you will do 95%. But will you bring down the total number by 80%? See that we have already brought down only 20%. Even if you 3 years you work hard, you will bring another 20%, maybe 30%. So we will, this mass campaign, we will make a dent, but the fight will be longer than that. We have a beautiful, I think there's a one genuine reason, COVID. In India, when most of the time the government system is not working, you say elections were there and we could not work because of elections. एक code लग गया था, तो all decisions postponed. Now COVID has given us an excuse actually that this might be the reason. Maybe delay of 1 year, 2 years, but that's not the excuse alone. I think all of us will have to work hard, but we work rationally because the conference is of the academicians. You will be a partner to the programs also. So you can't say we are not a part of the program. But eventually, I think you look at the long-term horizon. So beyond dash, I don't know how far. It should not be a long battle after that also. As Dr. Marx said, victory is possible. And victory was possible in those countries when even the so-called big drugs were not there. So that is possible. That means what matters? Strategy matters. What matters? Your clinical acumen matters. So I think the clinical strategies, public health strategies have a greater role than the carpet bombing by modern technologies. But don't leave the modern technology, you use them to your good. But the basic fight will be your determination. So I think back to basics, that's what I understood. I don't know whether Dr. Arora will agree with my views, what he wanted to come from myself, but this is something which, these are thoughts which got stimulated in myself because I have been a player in this scene, long time seeing the evolution, whether my contribution has been positive or negative, that's for the future to see. But yes, certainly I have my own biases, but I have tried to be as rational, as objective, as impartial in analysis, and still optimistic that we will make major successes. But the tough battle is ahead, very, very tough battle is ahead actually. Be prepared for it. Wish you good luck that all of you contribute and you succeed. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Well, before we conclude this ceremony with the vote of thanks,